If you're looking to shake up your fantasy baseball team 6 weeks into the season, I am here to help. I'm Erik Halterman of RotoWire, and I've got a pair of buy lows and a pair of sell highs for you today. Beginning with Junior Caminero, third baseman for the Rays, who was, I would say, a little bit overhyped during draft season. Caminero doesn't run, so he was going to need to really hit to justify some of the more aggressive draft prices, and while he sat in the top few spots of most top prospect lists, which makes me believe he's eventually going to hit that well. In his age 21 season, I'm not so sure, and so far, he has not hit like the next Rafael Devers or Austin Riley. He's hitting just 242 with a 272 on base percentage, a 702 OPS. However, Caminero is showing enough signs of promise that I'd be willing to try to acquire him for someone I drafted maybe 2 or 3 rounds later, closer to where Caminero probably should have been going, because his underlying numbers do look pretty good. Statcast says he should be hitting 269 instead of 242. Strikeout rate of 21%, right at league average. A 51% hard hit rate is well above. He's making contact on 88% of pitches in the zone. League average there is about 85%. So pretty good contact skills, pretty good ability to hit the ball hard. The only real complaint I see in the underlying numbers is too many grounders, but that's something he can change, and even if he doesn't, it should at least mean that he gives you a pretty good batting average, better than, again, his 242 mark he has today. So go see if you can get Junior Caminero from a disappointed owner who overdrafted him a couple months ago. Up next, our next buy low is Cody Bellinger of the Yankees, who was quite tough to value this winter, I would say. Bellinger has had an up and down career where he's gone from one of the best players in baseball to one of the worst, and then back to just kind of fine but unimpressive all around for a few years. So maybe we had just begun to come to terms with the new Cody Bellinger, but then he moved to Yankee Stadium in December, a park which could really boost power numbers for a lefty who can pull the ball in the air. So maybe was it time to be back in on Bellinger? Well, so far the results have been poor, but I think that's created a buying opportunity. 4 homers and 4 steals for Bellinger have stopped him from completely bottoming out, but he's hitting just 205 with a 281 on base percentage, just a 640 OPS. Looks like the dad Bellinger is back, but look under the hood, we do see a strikeout rate that's up to 20%, 4 ticks above where it was the last 2 years, but that's still a better than average mark and could be an example of an intentional move to trade some contact for some power. We haven't seen that in an increase in homers yet, but we have seen an increase in hard hit rate for Bellinger. He's up to 44% in that category. He was all the way down at 31 and 32% the last 2 years. Bellinger also is hitting the most fly balls of his career with a 48% fly ball rate. He hasn't yet managed to increase his pull rate, but he hasn't lost anything there either. So this looks like a player who's in a park that should make the most of his declining skill set, and it looks like a player who's making some small changes to lean into that park. We just haven't seen the results yet, so I'd be interested in seeing what the price is on Cody Bellinger before his surface level stats improve. One more buy low for you this week is RotoWire.com. If you're watching this video, I bet that you're into A, fantasy sports, and B, getting things at a discount, so you can combine 2 of those interests by going to RotoWire.com and entering code ROTO15 at checkout. That's ROTO15. You'll get 15% off any RotoWire product. Now let's go over to the sell highs, where we've got Andy Pages, who is a good young player who's hot right now and plays for a team that gets plenty of attention and is quite good, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now that's an argument for keeping him, certainly, but it's also an argument for cashing in while he's got a bit of extra buzz. Now, as a right-handed hitter on a team with plenty of depth, there was always a chance that Pages fell into a less than full-time role like he did for parts of last season. That led to some skepticism during the draft season, but Pages has started 33 of the Dodgers' first 36 games, and it's hard to take him out of the lineup given that he's hitting 274 with an 828 OPS, 6 homers, and 3 steals. Unfortunately, the batted ball data isn't really all that impressive here. That 274 average comes with a 230 expected batting average. He's slugging 480 487, but he's expected to slug 99 points worse than that, 388. Overall, we've got a strikeout rate of 23%. That's a hair worse than league average. We've got a barrel rate of 8%. That's half a point below league average. A hard hit rate of just 31%. That's almost 10 points below league average. So pretty mediocre underlying numbers here for Pages, who hit 587 over a 7-game hot streak in late April, but has hit 170 outside of that run. He's a good player with a bright future ahead of him, but take advantage of that hot streak before the cold streak lasts for too long after it. Try to move him now while his numbers are a bit inflated. Again, you get that boost, I think, from a Dodger. People know more about this guy. They're paying more attention to him. They might not be looking under the hood and realizing that he just hasn't been all that impressive despite the surface stats. And finally, let's move over to the mound, where I would sell high on Drew Rasmussen, who's off to an excellent start for the Rays. Rasmussen underwent Tommy John surgery in 2016 and again in 2018, and then internal brace surgery in 2023. Rasmussen did return for the final 2 months last year and pitched very well with a 2.83 ERA, but he didn't go more than 2 innings in any given appearance, so it was hard to fully buy in this draft season due to concerns about his role. It wasn't clear that he even had a rotation spot available to him, and it wasn't clear that the Rays could afford to use him as a starter, but injuries have given him a rotation spot thus far, and he's kept it, posting a 3.09 ERA in 7 starts. That, however, means that you have a window to sell Rasmussen now while his value is still there. There's 2 reasons why I'd be doing that. First is that the workload concerns are going to show up eventually. I think there's 0 chance Rasmussen makes 30 or more starts. With 35 innings so far this year, he's already passed last year's total and is 2 starts away from passing his 2023 total. They're going to move him to the pen or give him a phantom IL spot soon if he doesn't get actually hurt. And second, Rasmussen might already be starting to get worse. Over his first 4 starts this year, he had a 29% strikeout rate and a ERA under 1. Over his last 3 starts, that strikeout rate has collapsed to 16% and his ERA is over 6. So I would move him now while that overall ERA, again 3.09, still looks great, and before Rasmussen gets moved to the bullpen or into some sort of, special hybrid role that helps the Rays win games but doesn't help you win your fantasy matchup. That's going to do it for today's video. Remember, head on over to rotowire.com, enter code ROTO15 at checkout for 15% off any RotoWire product.